Should we bring it in singing a Britney song?
Yeah.
As per usual.
Oh, baby, baby, how was I supposed to know?
I was thinking that.
Something wasn't right, yeah. Oh, baby, baby, I shouldn't have let you go.
Oh, kill it, Cam.
I don't remember the exact
Tell me
how you want it to be. Tell me, baby, cause I need to know now. Because
my Lord.
Wait, hold up. Did you have the
killing me.
Did you have the arm movements?
I did.
Is that what she does in the show?
I
Or in
mean,
the
I think it's
song?
pretty close. I couldn't move my whole body because there's some like leg movage too. But
Nice. Nice.
It was going under there.
welcome back to this special edition of Five's a Crowd, where we are here to resoundingly yell, "Free Britney!
Britney!
Free Willy?
That's right. Not the same.
Oh, okay.
Great movie though.
That's about a whale.
Yes.
Well.
But yeah, we have caught wind of some very interesting stuff that we didn't even know was going on, called the Free Britney movement. Now, I don't know if a lot of you watching this or listening to this actually know about it.
I sure don't.
It's become really popular on TikTok because a lot of weird stuff, and Instagram.
I just joined TikTok like a...
That's a different platform.
Completely different platform. That's why those videos are on the Plex. I get
That's okay.
Busted.
Gosh, that's why I'm not seeing Free Britney on there. Gosh.
it. Free
Free
else.
Britney is another movement too.
But yes, like, and again, this is another one of those kind of weird topics that in a way has a
lost
connection
Chris.
to us.
I paid attention. I know how to
'Cause-
focus.
I mean, I'll put it out there right here now. She was one of my biggest crushes.
Oh, yeah.
I think everyone at this table could
Every kid in the 90s was
Resounding
in love
yes.
with Britney Spears.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You don't seem so positive.
Oh, no.
Oh, I saw it in his eyes.
Are you a Jessica Simpson fan?
No, I didn't even know
Christina
who she was.
Aguilera?
Nope.
I mean,
it was
that was more so high school, but
Yeah.
They were around.
Christina
the same
Aguilera
time.
didn't come in until she did Dirty.
She did dirty, huh?
That,
But
have you
there
seen
you
that
go.
music video?
No.
It's pretty dirty.
Although my brother...
what's your brother got to do with this? Have you seen that? Have you seen that before? No, but my brother.
He told me to tell you.
he had a pretty good crush on Christina Aguilera until he learned that her and her ex-husband did Naked Sundays. And then he had a huge crush on her and wanted to go follow her.
What's Naked Sundays?
I mean,
Naked
do you
Sundays
need
in the
much-
house. Her
do
and
you
her
need
husband
explanation?
would just go naked in the house all Sunday
That's
long.
a thing?
Naked Sundays.
I didn't
Guys.
know
It wasn't a thing.
Here's the thing.
I've been doing a thing that I didn't know existed.
I was like, it doesn't have to be Sundays. It can be any day.
Ours is
just
Naked
kidding.
Tuesdays. Work is pretty awkward. But mine's just, I didn't want to get dressed.
Most days. But back on topic, we are talking about Britney Spears.
Not Christina Aguilera.
No,
Okay.
Britney Spears. She was the little heartthrob of all us little tweenagers.
She was.
Yeah.
And she was an inspiration for all the little girls.
Dude, honestly, like recently watching like a documentary on it, looking through some of the videos, I had actually started hearing about this a couple months ago. Randomly, my wife saw something on TikTok and she just went down this weird rabbit hole about all this stuff about Britney Spears in recent years and the things she's going through. And then some girl at work I just happened to be talking to, and she brought up Free Britney, and I'm like, oh, weird. I was just talking about this with my wife. So I'm seeing it start to pop up. Because honestly, think about it. When's the last time you really even heard about Britney Spears?
When she did the circus one.
When she shaved her head.
Wow,
And
that's
was-
way
Dude,
old.
that was in 2007.
Oh, jeez.
no,
Really?
2000
Yes.
No,
Yes.
no. That was in
No.
2003.
I pulled it up right here. 2007. Uh-huh.
I swear we were in high school because I thought there was like a poster in my chemistry
Internet
class.
doesn't lie. That was a... You
Was
did
that
a-
after she dated
He just...
K-Fed?
He computer dropped
After.
you.
Yes,
What,
it was
what-
after.
what was that? What's that where the Mandela effect?
Yes.
Mandela
Yeah.
effect. Weird.
But yeah, so let's take it back a little bit. Let's start from the beginning, because here's the crazy thing. Like, looking at Britney Spears and her career, like, she's actually quite an impressive woman. Like, she did. I mean, she's. I believe, a lot of people are like, oh, Beyonce is queen. Nope, step aside. I'm sorry, but Britney Spears is like the pop queen.
Oh yeah,
of all.
yeah,
It's true.
To answer your question, though, the last thing that I had heard of Britney Spears was when she got her big contract deal at Vegas.
Yes, and that was a really big deal. She got a residency at Vegas, which is essentially, like, I feel in the pop world the highest. Yeah. It's kind of like your what do teachers get?
Severance?
No.
Pension?
Like a tenure.
No. When they're like locked in, you can't fire them.
Tenure?
Oh, tenure.
It's basically like pop singer tenure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you're set for life.
It's like a concert every, week.
And she would take home like $1 million a night.
She split it with Backstreet Boys.
No, that's a new one.
Was that not the first one?
No.
Oh,
that's
I was
something
gonna
else.
say, I know she split it with Backstreet Boys, and it would be like 1 week or 2 weeks you'd have Backstreet Boys, and then 2 weeks you'd do Britney Spears.
No,
and
that's
then 2 weeks would
supposed to be a
Backstreet
new
Boys.
project actually that's coming out.
No, they did it before.
Her tenure was just her by herself. Not her tenure. Her residency at Vegas was all
When
her.
was that?
Yeah.
Wasn't it called Domination or something like that?
Let's see right here.
While you look that up, I'm going to challenge all the new viewers, all the new listeners. If you're not already, please follow us. Please hit that subscribe. And if you're new here, hit that thumbs up. And for those of you that have been around for a little while, we have a new little button below the video that says join, or over on our Anchor, we have a little button that says support. If you'd like to support what we do here, check that out. We'd really appreciate it. Did you find your info?
Yes, she got a 2-year residency at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas in 2013. And that was just her.
I swear she split it with Backstreet Boys.
Mandela.
So, and she's pretty much working nonstop.
Like,
No,
it was just her, but meaning that when she was not doing, because you'd get like 2-week break or something like that, and when she was not doing it, Backstreet Boys was on the same stage at Planet Hollywood.
Celine Dion.
I don't.
Wasn't she there too in Vegas? I don't
Yeah,
know.
No,
she was.
Celine
Celine
Dion
Dion did have a
was
show.
in Vegas for a long time.
So did Garth Brooks. Whoop, whoop.
You have a lot of ties back to the Mr. Brooks.
Good
my
old
boy.
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks is a stud.
You're my boy, Blue.
So
He transcended.
I'm gonna. While you do that, we're just gonna jump back a little bit. So Britney Spears, starting out, grew up in Louisiana. I can't remember that. It was like Kentwood or something, Louisiana, really small town. And she was always really good singer on talent shows, things like that.
Sang in the choir.
That's right, the
middle of the
choir.
Bible Belt.
And she, when was it? She ended up coming to New York. They hired a child star talent agent and brought her to New York to try out. And her first big hit was the Mickey Mouse Club.
Yeah.
The new Mickey Mouse
So
Club.
they originally took her. They got a talent agent. They took her to New York to train. So she trained like voice. She trained dancing and stuff. And yeah, she did her first auditions for the Mickey Mouse Club in 1990, and she was rejected at 8. She was only 8. So she was rejected because she was too young. She became an understudy for the lead role in an off-Broadway production of Ruthless. And then she made her first appearance on Star Search at age 10, where she won the first round of competition but lost the second. Then at 11, she auditioned again for the Mickey Mouse Club. And that's when Christina Aguilera, Kerry Russell, and Justin Timberlake also
Yes.
got on the Mickey Mouse Club.
Holy crap, are you for real? All those people?
They were all in there together.
Wow.
a lot
I
of
didn't
star
know
power
that.
on the Mickey
Isn't
Mouse
that
Club.
that's one of the craziest things I find with a lot of famous people is they all they're running in the same circles almost their whole lives or most of it.
You know, it's funny too. A lot of famous people, some way or another, you can put them back to Disney Channel.
I thought you were going to say Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon more so, yes.
That too.
Is that still a thing? Is that still relevant?
Oh
The
yeah,
Kevin Bacon thing?
Yeah, was it
Yeah.
6 degrees?
6 degrees of
Kevin
separation.
Bacon.
Yeah. Also, to answer the previous question, Backstreet Boys didn't come into the picture until 2017. So she had her show in 2013. They didn't come into the picture until 2017. Thank you. This has been a presentation of blah, 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 blah.
Wow. All right.
Well then.
Okay.
Anyways, if I can
Lawyer.
stop being questioned, I can get back to the story.
So to bring it back, one thing that surprised me was after the Mickey Mouse Club, she actually went back to just her Louisiana life.
Yeah.
Focused on high school, played basketball. She was prom queen.
Wrote "Hit Me, Baby."
And it's because the show was canceled.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, so Mickey Mouse Club was done for.
Why was it canceled?
It just, I don't know, just didn't. I mean, it was, let's think about it. It was going on in 94. Did any of you watch it?
Well, here's the thing. I didn't have cable growing up.
I didn't either.
I was a Nickelodeon
We
guy.
had cable off and on. It was really periodic.
Yeah.
Was your
we
love
had
for your
it.
parents also periodic? I'm just curious.
When the cable was on.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good to
Unless
know.
they had, cable and then a video game until cable came back. And then
Okay.
they played it well. But so that was canceled. And she actually had a hard time with it. Like, that was a huge part of her life. Like, she made friends. She was performing. She was having fun. Like, when it canceled it, they said she had a really hard time with it. And went back to school, back to doing just normal stuff. Well, then in 1998, she signed to Jive Records and recorded her debut album, Hit Me Baby One More Time, in Sweden.
And what was crazy with that is to help promote it, she would do free performances in the malls.
Yeah.
And at the time, people, would kind of watch in their passing, things like that. Well, then it just started to blow up.
That totally is like right off of
How I Met Your Mother. With Robin Scherbatsky.
Yeah.
She's it. Yes. The Canadian Mall. Well, she was in an episode of How I Met Your Mother, too. Britney Spears was.
Oh, that's
Remember?
right. Yes.
So is that clearly a play off of Britney Spears?
It might be.
It
It's
has
gotta
to
be.
be.
It's
It's gotta
gotta
be.
That's hilarious.
Well, and because she talks about how, so it's weird. So to preface all of this, honestly, we do have to talk about her parents at the time. So her mom was super supportive and everything, but her mom couldn't always be there with her, like in New York. So they actually had a family friend go with her.
Well, didn't the family friend? She was a family friend while in Louisiana. The family friend ended up going to New York to be a nanny, wasn't it?
Well, she basically went with, she was the chaperone of Britney Spears while she was out in New York doing those things and then while she did stuff for Mickey Mouse Club and whatnot. So, and while she started doing these mall tours. So this lady they called her business assistant, but she was one of her really good friends and was with her through all these monumental moments in her life. Her mother was super supportive, loved what she was doing. Her father always seemed very concerned about the money aspect of everything. So in the beginning, he was always questioning how she was progressing with her learning to sing and dance, like in New York and stuff, wanting to be able to justify the amount of money he was spending to put her there to get her trained and all that stuff.
Sounds
I
like
get
my
that.
ideal father.
But then also constantly asking as things were ramping up, like, what's the money situation? How much money is this bringing in? Like,
Can
always
she buy
seemed-
me a boat?
Exactly. He said one day my baby's going to grow up and buy me a boat.
Yeah.
Like, he was just always obsessed with the money. And so it really seemed like
Makes a
they
lot of
didn't
sense.
have a super close relationship, her and her dad. It was either her mom there with her or this chaperone. Well, they're doing these mall tours. And at first, it's just people are kind of stopping and gathering and kind of watching and listening, like, oh, this is cool. And it quickly turned into people were now seeking her out at these malls. Crowds were being drawn to the malls to find her, to see her perform these free concerts and stuff. And her fame just took off.
now, do we have an age at this point?
She was born in 81.
16.
This was, what did I say, 98?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this was in 98. So it's 17?
Math.
Yeah. Pretty sure. Is that right?
81 to 91, she'd be 10. Plus
Yeah,
another
17.
Yeah,
I was right. Let me question myself. I actually got it right.
17.
Math is not that hard.
I am sweating bullets over here.
17. We were all, what?
Thanks, folks.
12?
We'll be back next week.
No, 11. We were all 11.
I just had an epiphany with that.
She was beautiful.
The Hit Me Baby One More Time. She was very provocative in that. That's horrible. For
Well, even the
17-year-old to act
lyrics.
that way.
I mean,
Well, and that's actually not even the most provocative. Okay, so she blasted on the scene this hometown little Kentucky girl, like not your typical famous person, homegrown Kentuckian, and she came out and she was so confident, and she was a part of everything that was going on. She drove like. She knew all the business deals that were being done around her. Like her manager didn't just go, hey, this, and this is happening. She was a part of every piece of it. She wanted control. She wanted to know what was going on, what she was doing, every aspect of it, right? There were numerous like backup dancers that were interviewed, and they would say that like
she had control.
she had control of everything. Basically, if they wanted to add something, she had to like it. If she didn't like it, it wouldn't get put in. This one guy got hired because she's like, I want him.
Yeah.
And like nobody else could just be like, well, no, he's gonna he's
he's
part of it now. Come on.
He was
Really?
the choreographer that he even said, he's like, I was coming up with the moves, but the moves had to be approved through her.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't up there she wasn't the puppet. She was definitely in control.
Yeah. She was super hard worker, super confident.
And not to mention, through all of this on her rise, it was boy band time.
Oh yeah.
Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, all these guys were
98 degrees.
That was the
98
focus.
degrees. That was them. So for this, standalone female singer to be able to stand out amongst all these boy bands was incredible.
And in fact, her first real concert tour, she opened for NSYNC.
Really?
Yeah. So, and real quick, I want to pause here and I want you guys to kind of reflect. What were your impressions of Britney Spears at this time? Because this was all during our lifetime. Like I remember a lot of stuff. I remember that back then, the only way to watch music videos was MTV sometimes or VH1. And so you couldn't just look it up and watch Hit Me Baby over and over. You had to wait for it to pop up. And it was on the #1 top 200 Billboard charts for a long time. But I mean, I remember watching that video many times
The little
because I was just in love with that woman.
the pink pom-poms in her hair,
Yes, the
and the
schoolgirl outfit.
Wasn't it white? Weren't they white pom poms?
No,
They were pink.
yeah, they were pink. She had a white shirt on.
Don't
and like a gray
question
jacket,
Tony on this.
Okay.
gray skirt.
All I know, I didn't have cable, so I didn't have access to any of that. This is also pre-YouTube era, so you can just look it up. But I've touched on this before, but a kid it was either 4th grade or 5th grade, came to school with a VHS tape with it recorded. And that's how I got to see it.
VCRs, man.
That's how we shared and traded.
I remember my neighbor, who was a few years younger than me. She was a huge fan of Britney for the music. And I just remember dogging on the music, but thinking she was really hot. And my neighbor had her poster, that Hit Me Baby One More Time poster album cover, where it's Britney she's like down on her knees looking all cute and everything. But
Well, no, like I'm like, yes, I wasn't like a pink background.
Yes,
It was her. It was her early stuff. It was because I remember.
Just the way you described it.
I know.
That sounded so
I
bad.
can still see it in my mind.
Thank you.
She's wearing that strawberry lip gloss.
I never got to see her, but I just remember hearing her voice, and I remember how unique it was, and I was like, she sounds very attractive.
Oh,
And she was.
Was it a pink background? I thought it was a blue background.
I'm pretty sure it was pink. I will look
like
it
salmon.
up right now.
Wow,
a
see,
salmon-y
I don't
pink
really
salmon.
remember, but I know exactly the picture you guys are talking
I
about.
don't remember seeing it on
It's
the
almost like
album
the
cover.
camera's at an angle. She's kind of looking up all innocent.
Guys, we sound terrible right now.
I mean, we were 11 years old.
I know, but now we're middle aged talking about
Was there another single on that album, or was it just "Oops, I Did It Again"?
No, there were other ones. There was the other one. It's the really popular one that Blink 182 kind of made fun of.
Or "Hit Me Baby One More Time"? Not "Oops." Sorry.
You remember Blink 182's video where they're all wearing the white?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All the small things?
All the small things.
small
Yeah.
things.
That was essentially making fun of her music video from that same album. Oh my gosh,
I
what
thought
song
it was just
it?
making fun of boy bands in general. I didn't know it was about something specific.
It's the one that's like, sometimes I run, Sometimes I hide, sometimes I'm scared of you. I'm pretty sure it's that one.
But all I really want is to
I mean, if you guys
hold
remember back to our music podcast, this was the era in which I was listening to Britney Spears and Mandy Moore and Spice Girls. Like, this is the stuff I was into, mostly because I had a crush on them.
That's hilarious.
You can't see him through the
Well,
radio
so
cam.
if that was mostly, what was the other half?
Well, I mean, because the other boy bands I didn't have crushes on.
Oh,
So
okay.
all the girls I had crushes on, but not the boy bands. But so and this is 1999. So I kind of like that Chris brought it up. This was also so she went on tour with NSYNC. Hit Me Baby One More Time was top Billboard 200 #1, and then she posed on the Rolling Stone.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys remember that?
I don't. You haven't even showed me the poster yet.
I was trying to find it. But she posed for Rolling Stones.
This is the top half.
Let me see.
Oh, that is not the picture at all that I was thinking of.
Yeah,
Isn't that her
it
CD
is
album
pink.
cover?
I was right.
That's what I was talking
yeah,
about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think she actually had a poster.
Were you thinking of like that poster
I
or
don't
something
know.
like that?
Maybe I thought of one in my head. I don't know.
Shiny pants.
Apparently, I have no idea what the heck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Zach had it exactly
Yes.
right. If you just look up her album cover, that's the poster I was thinking of. But she posed for the Rolling Stone, and mind you, this is 1999, and this was super provocative.
Yeah.
I have never seen that before in my life.
I remember that picture.
We're going into the weird archives of Cam over
This is
here.
when he was sneaking on the
Now, just
dial-up.
remember,
Get off the phone, Mom.
okay, you listened to the last podcast. I grew up a good Mormon boy. All right, chill.
Hey,
They were just innocent crushes.
Even Mormon boys have crushes. That's
Innocent
fine.
crush. Innocent crushes.
Uh-huh.
Well, anyways, this at the time kind of caused an uproar. Like, people were like, oh, Britney Spears, she's a terrible example for our kids. She's slutty. She's wearing all this gross, provocative stuff. Like, people, like, moms across the country were mad. Like, people didn't like it.
Well, yeah. Didn't
She was using her
Who
sex
was it?
appeal.
in that thing it said one of the senators or some political figure
Yeah.
said that if she had the chance, she would shoot her.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
No,
Yeah.
straight up. Like,
Wow.
like,
She was quoted
political
saying-
figure. Yeah, she was like, if I had the opportunity, and they asked Britney, they said this to Britney in an interview on like Dateline or something like
Yeah.
that. They're like, yeah, this senator said if I had the opportunity to shoot Britney Spears, I would.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like
Because
this
of what
actually
she was
broke
doing
my
to-
heart.
To little girls and children and
The example she was setting.
Yeah, the example.
And this actually broke my heart because like right after she said that, you could tell Britney tried real hard to be strong, and like she broke down and started crying, and she's like, "Can we stop the interview? I'm embarrassed. I can't." And like she's
Yeah.
just crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's jacked up.
And she didn't even have anything bad to say about that senator. She was just instantly like,
"Oh,
that's so
wow,
sad.
That's
Like,
sad. Like it hurt her like to the core." And like I see how difficult it would have been for her again, being in an era of boy bands. Boy bands don't undergo the same scrutiny, obviously.
they can dance around with their shirts off and
Well,
nobody bats an
And
eye.
she was dating Justin Timberlake.
Oh, did they really date?
They did.
Yes.
They got
Oh,
together.
that's funny. I was going to ask about
Yes.
that. Like, wow,
Yeah.
if they grew up in the same circles, I'm surprised they didn't date.
In
They
fact,
did for 4 years.
I remember hearing a rumor in elementary when she went on tour with NSYNC and was dating Justin Timberlake. There was a big rumor that she actually got with the entire group of NSYNC in one night and
So they were in sync.
had some fun. Yes.
Wow, that's horrible. Horrible.
I remember hearing about that in elementary, and everybody's like, "Oh, she's so bad. Like you shouldn't listen to her." Like it was.
Well, seeing that, sadly, with the provocative photos and outfits and things, and then now with her relation with Justin, that's where things started to kind of, like the publicity started to go south for her real fast because now people are starting to wonder, well, is she still a virgin?
Yeah,
And
because that was a big thing too. Remember, she always claimed that she was a virgin and she was saving herself for marriage.
Real quick to pivot on that politician that said that. Could you imagine if a politician said that today?
I said that
my
exact same thing.
goodness.
When I watched it, I was like, there's no way this person could say this today.
Nope.
Not even.
They would probably, like, they would almost be arrested.
yeah.
Minimum, at least kicked out of office or like impeached. Like, and to be able to just say that and publicly say that, your name is stamped on it. It's, pushed by the news. Like, what the heck, dude?
It's crazy. And this has all happened in our lifetime, which is
Yeah.
crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But I mean, a whole lot of other stuff is like her fame skyrocketed. And she even said, like, she's like, this is weird and crazy. Like, everything, it was like overnight. I went from being a Kentucky girl to the pop
Louisiana.
princess. Kentucky.
I'm pretty sure it was
I
Louisiana.
thought it was Kentucky. Didn't we just say it was Kentucky?
It was Kentwood, Louisiana. I think.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, well, you guys get on the same page.
Freaking
You've been
Kentwood.
lawyer.
You just got blah, 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 blah.
Because you've been saying Kentucky in this whole time.
I have
It's
been
true.
saying
He said
Kentucky the whole time.
From Louisiana.
I
How's it
just
feel to get lawyer?
I just really like chicken. It's not your fault. You can't take credit.
Omit all prior references to Kentucky
Yep,
and input all references to
Replaced with
Louisiana.
Louisiana. But
One
she
of
was
our
on.
listeners is probably yelling at you through
I
that.
know, probably. She appeared on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, playing as herself. She hosted Saturday Night Live.
TRL.
And this is, in
you remember?
2000. She went on
I'm sure
TRL a lot.
She was on TRL. Yeah, with who was that?
Carson
host?
Daly.
Carson Daly.
Yep. She got her name out there a ton.
Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards.
Yep. And this is it. This is just 2000. Oops, I Did It Again comes out. And the album sells more than 20 million copies worldwide.
Jeez.
That is
That's
insanity.
multi-platinum. Platinum is you only
million.
sell a million.
Yeah. So 20.
20 times.
How fast did she sell them though?
It says that it happened in 2000.
That year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Releases her sophomore album. The album sells more than 20 million copies
Well, didn't
worldwide.
Hit Me Baby One More Time was 11 million, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
You know what always impresses me about people of this height in as far as like money goes is where does your drive continue? You know what I mean?
Like
20
what's the
million
goal? Okay, now where?
albums sold. Like, why would she even
I
perform
would
later? You know what I mean? Like, why would you even sign a contract to perform in Vegas later on? Like, you have the money. You don't
think-
need any more money.
Maybe
think
you
the-
had the money though.
I think the biggest thing is they get a taste for this lifestyle that's paid for with that money.
Yeah.
And you can only sustain it if you're continually making that money.
But like, I just don't know how you lose that money.
Right?
But you're
Some of them do it.
20 million albums? Do you-
Complete side note. That's why Will Smith. So he made millions as Fresh Prince of Bel-Air rapping. He went bankrupt because being that young with that kind of money, he just spent it like it
I
was.
just
you
don't
have
know
no
how you
concept.
spend it.
Well, and then so
Stupid
that's why
stuff.
he did the series Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to make his money back.
That's crazy.
They're just
So
not
some of
smart.
them
I mean,
just
you
do
go
it.
someone who's never had that kind of money, all of a sudden has all this money, just buy whatever. Like they don't have any concept of controlling it now. They're just spend. And then they still need more, so they keep doing it again and again.
Well,
and
it
again.
even said, and granted, this was for good reason. It said at one point she went back to her hometown around Christmas time, took $10,000 in cash, and started handing out $100 bills to people.
everyone on the street. So like she was like
Man, where was I for that?
not in Louisiana.
Yeah, apparently.
Or
You-
Kentucky.
He was in Kentucky.
Fool, she wasn't there.
Gosh, dang it.
So again, she's killing it, right? She's a household name. Everyone knows who Britney Spears is. She confesses to dating Timberlake in 2000. She signs a 2-year contract with Pepsi. Remember, she was the Pepsi face for 2 years.
And milk.
And then she steps it up again in 2001. She did do milk.
She did. Yeah.
In 2001,
I'm having flashes of everything that I remember seeing as a kid.
got milk. I wish. Then in 2001, I'm sure you guys remember this. You have to remember this. 2001, she performs "Slave for You"
Yes.
with the albino boa constrictor.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
of course. How could
Yeah.
you forget?
Yeah.
So look at it though. Like I remember from my perspective of watching this, looking at her go from like that innocent girl next door. And this is only over the course of 2 years, 99 to 2001. And then all of a sudden she's Slate for You, halter top, super short skirt, and she's dancing around with a big old snake, and you're like, what?
And this is the problem, right? This was like, maybe this was more closer to 6th grade is when that Hit Me Baby One More Time came out, or I can't remember. But all I know is it basically followed my testosterone drive. Yes. Because it was like,
It's so true.
I think you nailed it.
Because when did you say Slate for You? 2001?
2001.
Yeah, that was 8th grade.
Like
7th, 8th grade.
hormones are raging.
Boom.
Oh my gosh. But so she's the pop princess. She's the center of focus. This is where things start to get wild. Okay? Listen
Well,
to
she's
this.
dancing with his snake. I was
all
Dancing
aboard,
with a snake.
all aboard the testosterone train.
So listen to this. At this time,
so I had about
stop. To continue down the path, she releases her third album, Britney. She performs at Saturday Night Live again. She comes out with that movie Crossroads, which was terrible.
yeah.
That was bad.
So bad. She ends her relationship with Timberlake, and that's when the interview came out that the reporter asked about this congresswoman that
That's
said
right.
she'd shoot her, because they asked her what happened with Timberlake, and
Well,
she
they
wouldn't
said
say it.
they said, "What did you do?"
Yeah, they blamed her for all of
Everything,
it.
because in that documentary, they gave the analogy that it was like she was the slutty cheerleader sleeping around, and Timberlake was the
quarterback.
He was the quarterback,
golden child.
the golden child. So he could do no wrong. So the fact that they split up, it was instantly Britney's fault, and she just gets hounded.
Well, and his song came out.
Oh yeah,
That basically was
Cry Me a River.
yeah, that was about her
Yeah.
and like how
Oh,
she
I
broke
had
his
no
heart.
idea.
Even the music video, it portrays
You
a
never
blonde.
see her face
and-
as a blonde girl.
Yeah. It's
And so everyone was blaming her for this. They're still calling her a slut. They're watching her just get more and more provocative. Right after this is when she performed Like a Virgin on the MTV Music Awards, and she kissed Madonna.
that's right.
And again, this is still a time when everyone, most of the country is still pretty conservative in their values when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was a big deal, and people were like, what the heck? And she receives her Hollywood Walk of Fame. She comes out with her fourth album. And then she marries her childhood friend, Jason Allen Alexander. And
She marries him?
She does. And then the marriage was annulled 55 hours later.
Oh,
Wow.
So,
She-
real short. She
Isn't-
married him in Vegas, too.
isn't Jason Alexander George Costanza from Seinfeld?
No. Well, maybe.
Well, yes.
Yes,
Jason
yes.
Alexander, but this is
Jason
Jason
Allen.
Allen Alexander.
I know.
Different guy. If it was, we would all have a chance.
Jesus Christ.
She comes out with her fragrance. So here in 2004, this is where everything, honestly, I feel like this is where the path sets to where she is now. So 2004, that's when she marries Kevin Federline.
And where is he from?
He's a dancer.
That was K-Fed, right?
Yeah, K-Fed. He was a backup dancer.
So
Okay.
before that, she actually had an appearance on Austin Powers 3.
She did?
What?
Yes. Remember?
She did. She was a fembot.
Yeah, she was a fembot because all of a sudden
that's
the thing
right.
comes out
I
and he goes,
remember.
machine gun jumblies.
I remember.
And then Austin uses power, and then
That
her
was
head
Britney Spears?
Yeah, then her head explodes, and Austin looks at the camera and goes, "Oops, I did it again,
Oh
baby."
my gosh. That's right.
So she meets Kevin Federline. They get married. At this point in time, it came out, or at least in this documentary, they talked about how the news agencies in the area, like the magazines and stuff in LA and whatnot,
I have a retraction. It was Austin Powers 2. I'm sorry.
We forgive you.
Okay.
I don't.
That was
just
that
for
was
the
gonna
record.
bug
I
me.
don't.
Okay,
I don't.
all right.
I don't forgive.
I
you.
deserve that.
I object.
It was gonna bug me until I said it. I had to correct myself.
Now,
Sorry.
real quick, K-Fed, didn't he become a singer too?
I don't know.
I feel like he.
Yeah, know a lot about him.
became a rapper, I believe.
I was gonna say, didn't he
Try
try
his
and
hand at rapping. I
Terrible.
want to say
Sounds horrendous.
It was.
he also was a wrestler for a little bit.
Was he really?
He was
man.
he was on WWE.
Oh my god!
Came in to be a wrestler.
So at this time, do you guys remember how crazy the paparazzi was?
Yes.
I feel like this is the time when I learned the word paparazzi.
Yeah, I do.
Mine was from Lady Gaga.
Really? That? Oh my gosh.
I'm not.
Stop.
Well, and before that, didn't tabloids were saying that the wedding was fake? That there for a bit, people didn't even believe that they actually got married.
Yeah. Well, forever. Again, she was the brunt of the news all the time. They were always attacking
Well,
her.
news, everything, talk shows. In that thing, it even did Family Feud, and it was like, we asked 100 people, name the top 8 answers. What has Britney lost lately? And it was like,
And this is like later after her big like breakdown. And
oh
stuff.
yeah, that's right. That was later. But it's just she was the punchline of every joke.
Yeah,
was-
across the nation. Like it again, seeing this perspective, like it was really sad. Like she got the raw end of the deal all the time, and it came out that at this time, the paparazzi were so bad because these magazines had a budget of $1 million a week to spend on pictures of Britney Spears. So
What?
So they would bombard her and take pictures because these guys would make hundreds of thousands off of one picture of Britney
Oh
Spears.
my gosh!
So
Just
she was
sharks
hounded
in the water.
constantly for
And
pictures.
And she was so sweet about it at first. Like it was showing that at first she almost liked it. Like
Yeah.
she would smile for the camera. She'd give him that pose. Gosh, one time it shows her, she's in the drive-thru of a fast food place and they're literally standing around her car. She can't even grab her food and drive off. But yeah,
laughing,
she's
having
still
fun,
laughing and
like-
waving, still trying to, oh my gosh, I would mow over those people.
Like, how do they even know that's where? I guess I don't know. Maybe
They
saw
stalk.
her.
It's straight up
job.
stalking.
Yeah,
her.
it's
Yeah.
stalking.
They're following her, driving around and following her all over the place.
They even in this thing, they interviewed one of the paparazzi, and he was saying, he's like, at the time, you don't think of them as a person. You're just snapping the shot. You don't even care what they're feeling or anything.
Exactly. They would just cruise around, follow her and stuff. And this is when, she gets pregnant with her first child. She was banned from the Oscars with Paris Hilton and Pamela Anderson. They were all banned from the Oscars because they were afraid it would make it a sideshow. Like that they would cause some ruckus.
Oh, jeez.
Remember, Paris Hilton was doing all kinds of weird stuff at the time, too.
That's hot. I just remember that. I just want to.
She was the worst.
Didn't she patent that? Like she tried to?
Who knows? Probably. So she has her first child, and you just see that like she's being invaded more and more by the paparazzi.
Yeah, because now they want to get pictures of her with her baby.
Exactly. And I mean, she's not as glamorous all the time. She's a mom, so, she's taking care of kids. She doesn't have time to always do herself up constantly how she did before that. And but she's just constantly hounded. Her TV reality show with her husband, Chaotic, was on the UPN network, so they were on a reality TV show.
My goodness, UPN. Wow.
I didn't even know that was a network.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
And then this is where the paparazzi got even worse. There was a picture of her driving with her baby on her lap in the car. They snap a photo of it. Now all of a sudden the whole country's like, what a terrible mom. She doesn't deserve to have those kids. Those need to be taken away from her. All this stuff. They're attacking her. They're attacking her kids. In the interview, they ask her about it, and she's like, I was just trying to get out of there. Like, I was trying to get my baby into the seat. Paparazzi was all over me, all over the car. It wasn't a good place for them. I just put my son on my lap, and they drove around the corner essentially to a safer spot and buckled him in. But the image is that she's driving with her kid, And so everyone's attacking her for how she is as a mom. And you just see it wearing her down. You can just see from all the pictures how it's wearing on her. You know, she has her next child. Her mom actually thinks that she was suffering from postpartum depression.
Which is something I didn't even know existed until
it's
my
very common.
wife went through pregnancy. It's crazy.
And it's very common. And again, this is also a time that people aren't talking a lot about mental health.
Yes,
You hear
that's
it all the time now.
they just kept. What's wrong with her? What's wrong with her? Why is she acting
Why is she
this
being
way?
crazy? Why,
Yeah.
like, they were blaming her for everything.
I mean, if you not calculate, but what's the word? Tabulate? Is that the word? I can't think. Anyway, if you tick off all the things that are happening to her in her time frame, like she is the perfect storm of her situation given the time frame. You know what I mean? Because back then dressing like she was extremely provocative for that time.
Yeah.
Now you turn on anything and that's like PG
She's got more
rated.
clothes on than most people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have the
Can't even scroll through TikTok.
crazy paparazzi. And now there's like laws against paparazzi in a lot of places.
I think that was a huge part of everything. with
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it was just like she was the perfect storm for her time frame and era of everything. And that,
Yeah.
unlike like we were saying with the mental health, mental health wasn't on the forefront of everyone's thoughts. Anyway, I just had
Being
to get
constantly bombarded, attacked, judged.
I try to put myself in these situations, and it's just like you're being swarmed by vultures.
Yeah.
24/7.
Oh, if you watch videos of it, it's insane, and the constant flashing
No
of the
offense.
cameras.
But
Yeah. Well,
kind
think
like-
think to yourself times when your own children have been screaming, unruly, you're tired, like things are happening, and you've done things that maybe wouldn't have been the best for that child. You know what I mean? Like you
because you're human.
exactly. You lock them in your bedroom because you're just like, give me a few seconds, or like
To get
you
your
know
composure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it rattles you just that.
Oh yeah,
Take that on top of that paparazzi, people in your face, screaming at you, snapping pictures,
Yeah.
click, 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 all over. Like any average person would break down.
oh
Yeah.
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 100%.
And
Sorry, and maybe just someone to go on top of this, and maybe for another podcast is Post Malone, because I know for him, that dude has like literally he's like the male version of Britney Spears, overnight celebrity.
yeah,
Just instant paparazzi in his face, all this crazy stuff. It's crazy hearing the similarities.
you can't go anywhere. Literally
Yeah.
nowhere is safe from these people. There's another incident where her son falls out of his high chair at her house, like at their own home. He falls out of the high chair. She gets questioned by Los Angeles Department of Children and Family Services. So
Well, and then there was that other
I'm like,
picture
dude.
where she trips while carrying her son, and they catch the picture of her mid-fall. She's trying to hold her water bottle and her son, and she's like kind of mid-fall. It's like, for crying out loud, the girl tripped. Like,
yeah,
I just,
Yeah.
oh man.
it's just insane. She guest stars. This is 2006 now. She guest stars on Will and Grace, plays a closeted lesbian. So again, just kind of going down this path of like what wasn't really acceptable at the time. And then in the end of 2006, she files for divorce from Federline. Now this is where things go super off the rails. She gets checked into a rehab facility in 2007, only to check out the next day.
Did he have a prenup?
I don't think they'd had a prenup, but they both filed for full custody of the children, and he won.
Oh, snap.
So he got full custody of the kids, which honestly is almost unheard of. The majority of the time, the mom gets full custody.
Well, and is this because of the time frame? Again,
Again, everything is
she's
painting her as a
painting her
crazy
as like a
person,
crazy
as a
person.
terrible mom.
Yeah.
So I mean, like honestly, I think the courts just kind of screwed her in this situation.
and could you imagine being like your kids being taken away from you? Like
Exactly.
my mind.
Again,
That's just the cherry on
Again,
top.
you see everything is just piling up above what any normal human could take.
I'd be gone like half the amount of things that happened. I'd be like, I'm done.
I'm
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, and then so 2007, this is when the most infamous Britney picture
Oh,
is
yeah.
taken. And I guarantee you could name it.
Buzz in the head.
Yep, shaved head Britney. So she goes into her hairdresser and she's like, I want you to shave my head. And the hairdresser's like, no, I'm not going to do that. She picks up the clippers herself, shaves her head right there. And they're like, why are you doing this? She's like, I don't want people to touch me. I want to be left alone. Like, she shaved her head in hopes of
Just being left
Being
alone.
left
being left
alone.
alone. And people, again, painted her as a crazy person.
Like last ditch effort type
Yeah.
situation.
Like, why are you doing this? She's dealing with custody battles. She finally reaches a settlement with Federline. The divorce is made final later that in July that year, 2007. She loses custody to the kids in October. Then visitation rights of her children are suspended after an encounter with the police. So she was supposed to give the kids to Federline, like court order, give him the kids, and she wouldn't. And so they basically took the kids from her, took her against her will in an ambulance
that's
to a
right,
mental
yeah.
institute. And they put her in there for, wasn't it a few days?
I think so, yeah.
Weird. I thought it was a rehab facility. That's just what I heard when I was a kid. Or I guess I wasn't a kid when this happened, but that's just what I heard at the time.
She was released from the psych ward because she went in there, committed to a psychiatric ward of Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center, and put on an involuntary psychiatric hold in January of 2008. In February, she was released. And then February, she also regains her visitation rights. And those rights increased gradually over the next few years. That's when she was on How I Met Your Mother. In March of 2008, she wins Best Female Video, Best Pop Video, and Video of the Year for Pieces of Me at the MTV Music Awards. Her lead single, Womanizer, becomes her first #1 Billboard Hot 100 since Baby One More Time. And
I'm trying to remember, wasn't this like a big comeback for her? Because like
Yes.
there was
Yeah.
a long period where she wasn't making music.
oh yeah, she didn't perform at all that year, and she still won all those awards.
Now,
Wow.
by this time, did the infamous conservatorship already, like, it was starting to be put into play, right? Like, I think when she came out of that hospital psych ward, I think that's when her dad was put onto a conservatorship. And he was almost taking credit for this bounce back. I could be wrong. I don't know. But I thought that
yes,
as she
you're right.
starts to make
So it's
these,
right after when she's in
Yeah.
the psych ward.
and so this is when her dad, who, again, flashing back, was never really in the picture.
He wasn't around for
He wasn't
pretty much any of
ever
this.
around. Like, it always showed her mom would pop in when she could, that type of thing. Dad was never around. Suddenly, she, we'll say, snaps. You know, she kind of has this moment with her kids being taken away, goes into the psych ward. Now daddy's in the picture, takes this opportunity to basically take rights over her. A conservatorship is normally for older people who are starting to get to that age where
Mentally decline.
they're mentally declining. They can't take care of their self physically, financially, whatever it may be. In this case, though, her dad comes in and is conservator over her.
Yeah, which is, again, it's not common at all. He is conservator over her person. He
Weird.
literally has say in what she eats, when she eats, where she goes, what she does.
Yeah.
Every facet of her life. She can't think for herself, basically.
Now, what happened to her mom?
They don't say anything. They didn't
Because
mention
if she
it
was
at
a big
all.
supporter, like where did she go?
That's just it. It never really said.
It didn't, like, you don't get
She's
the impression that her mom, like, I don't know.
She's still back home in Louisiana. This is all happening in California. I
But
don't
like,
know.
it doesn't mention if her mom and dad are together or divorced.
Because at one point they even interview the brother, and it's almost like the whole thing is just almost hush hush. Like,
Yeah.
Nobody talks. They don't talk about it.
Yeah. It's like, this is what's in play, but we're not going to talk about it. Like, it's just, I don't know. But yeah. And so they even put out another reality show with the dad and Britney to show that their father-daughter relationship, and and different things, but there's still just subtle things that Britney says in this reality show that just makes you kind of question it. And
Yeah, so she's in this conservatorship. At first it was temporary, then it gets extended. It's now still going on today.
it's actually signed that it is permanent.
Yeah.
Like,
So he is conservator of her person and her estate.
Crazy.
So he has say over all of her money, all of her houses, everything. He has control over all of it. Him, and there was a lawyer that they had. They were both doing it, and then the other lawyer is now gone, and it's just him.
yeah. And she was quoted saying several times that she doesn't, like, if the conservatorship has to be in place, that's fine, but she doesn't want it to be her dad.
Yeah,
She said it multiple
Yeah,
times.
she
She
doesn't
does
want
not
her
want
dad
it
to
to
be
be.
it.
And they even, in the interview, they asked one of the lawyers, is it she doesn't want her dad to be over her person, her finances, or both? And she said both. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't want him in the picture at all.
that is crazy.
But yeah, he still
How does she not
is.
have say in who her conservator is?
That's the
That's
wording
all.
in the conservatorship.
Yeah.
She can't say.
That's
Legally,
the whole purpose
she
of
cannot.
the conservatorship. She doesn't have the power to make personal decisions.
So she's a slave in essence.
Essentially, yeah. Like,
slave
it's
for you.
insane. I knew someone was going to make that joke.
I said a slave for you.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. When I started, I was like, oh, this is going to be ridiculous. And then when you really start looking into it and diving into it, you're like, holy crap. This is
Like,
messed up.
dang.
So
Yeah.
then, and I might be jumping all over. So she's making this comeback. She's top of the billboards again. Everything's good.
She lands her
Then she lands her Vegas thing.
residency in Vegas.
Well, then she's supposed to make this big reveal. They have this live show where she's supposed to come out and make this big announcement, and it's announcing the spot in Vegas. And they have fireworks, they have crowds, cameras, news, all this stuff.
It's streamed online.
Yeah, streamed
big,
online.
big
I mean,
thing.
live. This is it. She rises out of the stage. Crowd goes crazy. She's supposed to walk to the mic and make the announcement. Well, she walks down, keeps on walking, walks straight to her limo and leaves.
Doesn't say anything
Everybody's
to anyone.
dumbfounded. They're just looking around like, what the heck? And this is live, and everybody's just, they have no idea what's going on. And then it was from there, she disappears, right?
Yeah. Well, because then the next day she announces this was going to be her second residency in Vegas. And I think that was the one that was supposed to be with the Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
I think. Because that was like 2017? Or was that earlier? That's a lot over a long period of time. But essentially, the next day, she talks about how the show's canceled. She's not going to be doing it. She's not going to be working. And she even says, like, based on like a lot of the conservatorship and stuff, she's like, I'm not going to work. If I'm going to be stuck in this, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to do anything. And yeah, like just
That's
And-
what it was. She said, she's like, while my dad is conservator, I'm done performing. So until he is removed, I'm done.
Wild,
and like
dude.
nobody can get in touch with her to actually ask her anything because they have to go through the conservators. Yeah. They like
Like,
When
what
did
happens
the-
if they don't? You know what I mean? Like,
They can't
what-
get to her.
What happens if she gets a phone or like? I just don't understand.
That's what I was going to
all
ask.
controlled.
When did the Instagram thing start? Remember how she started putting
yes,
out those
this is when things started getting really weird.
she started putting out those Instagram like videos and posts that people started to think that there was subliminal messages that she was trying to put out.
Yeah.
like,
And TikTok and all that.
Yeah.
is her father like right there next to her all the time?
That's the thing is like since no one can see her, like she could essentially be a prisoner in her own house. They have say of when she leaves or doesn't. So they could literally be with her 24/7. They can have someone else watching her 24/7.
Under constant surveillance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why her Instagram got so weird. She started posting these Instagram pictures and people are totally just seeing subliminal messages in them. Like she acts weird. It's weird. You have to watch these videos because she's so different
Mm-hmm.
now. She looks tired. She looks beat down. Her hair's a mess. Her eyes are like baggy and dark circles.
Well, and she's
and-
like, even some of the stuff she's saying and doing, it's almost like she's just out of it. I don't know.
Like on some like heavy.
Yeah, like one of the
Medication or something.
videos it showed in the thing was she's sitting in the bathtub. You don't see her. She's just filming. She shows her hand and she's like, "Look at this pink rose." She's like, "Isn't it so beautiful? It's this perfect pink rose." And then she starts to crush it up and she's like, "It's not actually a rose. It's just soap. It's just soap." And she's just, but it's like so weird. I don't know.
It's creepy. It's bizarre. Honestly, if you jump on YouTube, you can just look up like
Well,
Britney
then-
hidden messages, things like
Well,
that.
then there was that podcast that it was those two ladies, and they were specifically, the whole podcast was centered around Britney Spears over dissecting the social media of Britney Spears's posts. And weren't they the kind of sort of founders of the Free Britney?
Kind of, because
Like
it turned. They
they
started realizing that these could actually be true.
Yeah.
So real quick, we just took a break just so I could show the guys some of the crazy stuff that is found on like Britney Spears' Instagram. And I mean, what are your guys' impressions?
I'm honestly a bit creeped out. Dude.
Yeah. Just very
It's
uneasy.
so weird.
She's got a lot of really weird pictures, and then on top of that, there's so much red going on. And like, I came across this weird one. It was honestly, so the red fridge was weird. There's a red, there's just a random red fridge.
She's all about red for whatever reason.
And then the one that really creeped me out was honestly just posted a few days ago. It says, "Devil is in the details. Wouldn't want this baby to hit me one more time." And it's this like basically a retro picture of someone from the 1800s holding a baby, but the baby's head is a skull. It's all black and white, very vintage, very dark looking.
Yeah.
Creeps me out, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, and she, like a lot of people, in looking at these posts, everyone's trying to dissect what it means. She talks about this Project Rose thing, which I guess one TikToker tied to sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you'd look up, what was it, Rose?
Project Rose.
Project Rose.
Oh, Project Rose itself. But then what did Rose stand for?
it was
No, there was another one that was, there was
It was
another
the
picture
date or
where she
something.
was like, she said, look at the date at the top of
time.
the second picture.
Yeah.
And it was April 6th. And it was like
there was a big
Project Independence or something like that.
yeah, it was like a big sex trafficking bust or
Where
something.
they freed a ton of people. And so,
100.
yeah, over 100 people that were being sex trafficked. And so people are thinking, is Britney Spears being sex trafficked?
Well,
and things
yeah.
like
So
that.
to go back, Rose did stand for something. It stands for, shoot, it was just right there. Reaching out on sexual exploitation. So Rose.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's an acronym.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Jeez, Louise. And like, the thing that weirds me out the most is just her. Like, her voice is like, it seems higher. It seems weird. Like, one person pointed out she kind of is childish in the way she speaks. And she sways all the time. Her eyes are darting around. Like, she's acting very much like, you even think about animals like a hurt animal. You know, they're very aware of their situation. They're afraid to be hurt again. They're afraid of something coming after them. They're
Very
scared.
timid,
They're,
just
you know, she's
just
regressing.
uneasy.
Yeah.
And like, it's insane to look at her when she was younger. It's super confident, in control. She's killing it. She's climbing this pop star ladder. And now she looks just done. She's worn out. Honestly, she kind of looks like she's been drugged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks severely worn out. Yeah. Just almost like a meth addict on a bender.
Yeah. And like, the angle of the camera is weird to me. It's always up above her. She's always looking up. There's that one video of her with her, what is it, her workout partner or something?
Yeah. It's supposed to be her boyfriend now, where they're working out and she just looks miserable. And then there's a brief second when you see him say, like, and it looks like he says smile, and all of a sudden she's like, and then starts smiling at the camera. And it's just
And like,
it's weird.
And why would you even post that? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
Trying to make it seem like everything's normal.
Yeah, but like that even just raises more questions. And
Yeah.
our captions don't make sense
No.
half the time.
So what if she did have a severe mental break?
Mhm.
Like clearly something's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what if way back when she did have a severe mental break, bad enough to where she isn't or wasn't at the time even capable of taking care of herself?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's-
why the father did get the conservatorship.
Mhm. And it's true. Like, I mean, people did mention she could very well have some severe mental problems that we don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just the fact that nobody will come out and talk about the conservatorship and actually let her be interviewed. Like they do have almost monthly court interviews and dates regarding the conservatorship. So they're constantly going into it. Here's the other wild thing. You tell them. I know what you're going to say. Maybe I don't
probably
know
not.
what you're going to say.
You might not know.
Mine wasn't going to be like wild. So you go.
Well, I was just going to talk about how so conservators actually get money. They make money from this. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
And there was a time when they went back asking for more money.
Yeah.
They wanted to
The
raise it's
one
like their
lawyer-
conservator's salary or something like that.
Yeah.
So the father makes money from Britney for being her conservator.
It's
I'm not
almost
sure where the
for
money
being her
comes
dad?
from.
It's
I wish I
almost
made that.
like
That'd be great.
Yeah.
it's almost
You wanna
like
call
they
them
are
that?
being paid to watch over this person.
Yeah.
So
And it's not small. Conservator pay, so in 2014, conservator pay increases to $426,000 a year.
That's it.
Can I be a conservator?
Please share with us.
no, I was gonna say she did have a small win when she went to court to try and get her dad off of the conservatorship. And unfortunately, the courts ruled against it. He's still her conservator, but they did add a bank as co-conservator. So she wanted to remove him completely and add a bank, and I can't remember which one, as her
Bessemer
conservator.
Trust.
Who?
Bessemer Trust.
Bessemer Trust.
That happened last year in August.
Okay. So she wanted this bank to be full conservator and have an actual financial institution over everything and get him off. The court ruled against it, kept Jamie Spears, her dad, on, but as kind of a partial agreement, added the bank as a conservator.
But I mean,
So-
look at this. So, and that all happened in August of last year. So, like the attorney filed Britney's request to remove Jamie Spears as conservator of her person and replace him with Jody Pius Montgomery. Attorney filed Britney's request to remove Jamie Spears as conservator of her estate and replace him with Bessemer Trust. So the whole time she's fighting to get her dad off, and he's fighting back. In September of last year, Britney objects to Jamie Spears sealing public records in her case. So he sealed public records so that nobody could see them. And like, I
What?
mean, how does that not scream
Something's
something
going on.
foul going
Yeah.
on?
Well, and also, I mean, the court, I mean, it sounds like, granted, yeah, sure, mental, they could argue that, but she's still over the age of 18. Like, she's no longer a
She's almost
dependent.
40.
Yeah, exactly. She's well over that age. So why does she have no say in who her conservator is?
I feel like
She is an adult regardless of mental capacity.
I mean, how do you
Well,
come
going-
back from that? Like being called mentally ill?
going back to how we were saying in most conservatorship cases, it's because the person is older and has been deemed incompetent.
Or with dementia.
Dementia,
Yeah.
exactly. That's a common one. But in her case, it's like, okay, let's see like medical records then that she has been diagnosed that she is mentally unstable and has to have somebody over her. But nothing comes out. It doesn't show anything that there has to be a conservator.
Yeah. So even just last month, no, sorry, February,
Close enough.
The attorney, I know. Attorney Samuel Ingham filed objections to Jamie Spears' request to have more control over Britney's estate than her co-conservator, the Bessemer Trust. So now he's trying to get more control over it still. Like, it's still happening, and it's insane. And nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows if it's going to end. This Free Britney movement is like gaining speed. But I'm going to throw out my own connection I made.
Okay.
Like looking at this stuff. And this to me is wild. And depending on your thoughts of the subject, could be the reason for everything going on. Oh, or could have nothing to do with it. But listen to this insane connection that I myself found.
Hey,
So-
did you find this?
I found this. I
Right
did.
on. Cool.
Me, myself. So when did this all start? Remember when she went to the mental institute?
2007.
2008.
Oh, 8.
2007 is when she shaved her head.
Okay.
2008 is when this all began. You know, she went to the mental institute. She got conservatorship, all that stuff. In 2008, Britney Spears owned a house at the top of Sunset Drive. She had a very strange experience in this house. And she told her hairdresser all about it, and the hairdresser was interviewed. Britney came down, getting her hair done. She tells her hairdresser that she had a party essentially, and she invited somebody over to perform Reiki on her. You know, that like kind of
Massage you, but not massage you?
yeah, but you using like the warmth of the
universe.
hands and like all that stuff.
Oh, they don't even touch you with
Yeah,
Reiki.
It's your chakras.
go.
It's for your chakras.
mess with your chakras and
Yeah.
stuff, all kinds of supernatural things, right? Well, she tells her hairdresser that she thinks that person who did Reiki opened up some sort of portal or something in her house that let in some evil spirits. She swears that she saw things and also had something try to push her down the stairs. It scared her so bad that she left the house, went to a hotel, never returned to the house, and she sold it. And this is 2008. All around the same time, all this craziness starts in her house. Well, guess who buys that house?
Brittany Murphy.
Brittany Murphy. And I mean, I don't know what you guys know about Brittany Murphy. She was in Clueless. She was a pretty popular actor at the time. Well, she lives there with her husband. And in December of 2009, the Los Angeles Fire Department was responded to a call at the home where Brittany Murphy had apparently collapsed in the bathroom. She was transported to the hospital. She died 2 hours later after going into cardiac arrest. So this is when Brittany Murphy died. She died from pneumonia combined with, I believe it was like an overdose of like medicine. Her husband, who was 40, died 5 months later in the same bathroom. The same way.
the same
The
way.
same way.
The same way.
What?
Yeah. So she had this terrible experience, evil entities, whatever, gets out of the house, sells it to Brittany Murphy. Brittany Murphy and her husband both mysteriously die the same way in the same bathroom. They even like investigated. Maybe there's some sort of toxic mold growing in the house, things like that. The coroner's report said that it wasn't caused by that. So they don't know how it happened for sure, but same way, same place. Later on, that house was actually been rebuilt and remodeled into something completely different. It stayed on the market for 10 years. Nobody bought it.
No way.
Gosh.
That's crazy.
So when they say overdosed on prescription drugs,
No,
what does
it
that
wasn't.
mean?
It wasn't an overdose. It just said she died of pneumonia and medication.
Yeah, like it's kind of weird in how they say it. Like,
We don't know.
because I mean, the main thing they say is it was pneumonia, and so it was some like having too much pills or something like
Overdose, yeah.
Yeah, like an overdose, but it's a weird one though. Like, why would that go together? I never hear that together. I always hear
It's
just
almost
like
like-
overdosed on drugs. But
It's
like,
almost like it wouldn't have been an
pneumonia-
overdose, but because she had pneumonia, now
exactly or something. Like, they're still unclear. Like, it's still kind of a mystery of how it happened.
There are some downers that if you take too many of them and overdose, they can cause fluid building up in the lungs, which could be considered pneumonia.
And so it's just so weird. The timing is honestly what gets me.
Yeah.
Like, and that's when everything went south with
Gosh.
Britney
So you
Spears'
think
life.
Britney Spears is haunted?
Who knows? No, for real.
After she sold that house, she went and stayed at the Cecil Hotel. Just kidding. I'm making that up.
Let's look into that. Actually,
for real. No, it wasn't.
they're
wasn't the
both in
Cecil.
L.A. Let's
They
go.
So when you look up how did Brittany Murphy die, the predominant reason is pneumonia
Okay.
combined with drug intoxication.
Okay.
But they always put it to pneumonia.
Really?
So crazy.
And so they don't know how. Oh, but anyways, when the house finally did sell, the people that bought it sold it. What was it? 3 years later, and so it wasn't 10 years that it was on the market because it would have sold in 2009. I think it got bought. It got bought in 2007, so it was 8 years, and then they sold it. I think just last year for a $2 million loss.
Jeez.
I mean, you don't sell a house for a $2 million loss unless it's haunted. I'm not saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
That,
It's
that reminds
spooky.
me of this meme I saw where it was like a realty sign out in the front yard, and on the top where it would say like for sale, it says not haunted, and the caption was like, yeah, that sounds like something a haunted house would say.
But no, honestly, like, who knows? Like, if you're a spiritual person, who knows what kind of dark entity could be surrounding her? I mean, her life just declined so rapidly, and the connection is it's eerie to say the least.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's where it all stands. Who knows what's going to happen, if she'll ever come out of this conservatorship, if we'll ever actually get answered. Like I said, this thing is still ongoing today. Check it out on TikTok. Check it out. Her Instagram. Weird freaking pictures from 4 days ago.
Yeah.
The series that we've mentioned a couple times, it's on Hulu. It's under
New York Times
Presents, and they have a bunch of different episodes. This was one particular episode, and it's
Framing Britney Spears.
yes,
Which I didn't understand the title.
right? Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Unless they're talking about how her whole life she was painted as like
Oh, maybe.
this provocative, terrible mother.
Maybe. But it even says at the end of that how they reached out to a handful of people to interview. A lot of them
The whole
didn't.
family.
They tried to reach out to Britney and couldn't get to her directly. They left a message, and they can't confirm if she ever actually received the message or not. So I don't know.
So it's wild. I don't know. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, what are some things you've seen? What are your theories? This is something that's happening, like I said, right here and now.
I think the big outliers to really consider that are red flags, like if you were to take the route that Britney Spears did have a mental break and she does need a conservator, is that her father continually is fighting for more power.
Yeah.
Right.
That right there immediately suggests foul play.
Yeah. Red flags. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
that to
Because
me
she's still
is
also making money.
Exactly. So that to me is the biggest red flag. And two, that she has no say in who her conservators are. Like that's, I don't know, man. That is to me is a dead ringer.
Like, for real, even if you just have to have a conservator, like, why not be able to help, like, choose that person?
Well, like, why is her mom not even an option?
And not even in
Where
the
is?
picture.
Yeah, I want to know where her mom
I still,
is.
like, even looking online, I can't really find a good answer. But even to put it in more perspective, Britney currently has a net worth of 60 million. Not as high as you would think it would be.
That's still a lot of money.
It's still a ton of money,
Yeah.
especially given like recent years and stuff. But
Crazy.
That is, yeah, dude. There has to be foul play there. Has to be. Whether how deep it goes, no one will know. But
here, people are even saying her net worth in 2021 doesn't make sense. So low, shockingly low compared to her earnings throughout her career. Her residency in Vegas grossed over 130 million.
Wow.
Where's that money?
really,
She sold more concert tickets and albums than both Jessica Simpson and Jennifer Lopez. However, her net worth is much lower than both stars. She doesn't spend extravagantly, so why isn't Spears' net worth higher in 2021? Those other two stars are at like 100 million.
It's crazy.
Wow.
If you guys know anything or have any insight that we haven't mentioned or anything, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them.
Yeah, for real.
Start a
Definitely.
convo. This stuff is crazy.
Especially your mother. That's really intriguing to
Yeah,
me. Like,
I'd
if
like
you guys
to
know
know.
anything about that, let us know.
I mean, I honestly think I'm going to keep an eye on this here and there just to see.
Yeah.
Like, it's just such a weird mystery, and it's
Well,
one that
enter-
we grew up with essentially.
Well, and it's going on.
Yeah.
Like that's the weirdest part is you don't see any headlines on it. At least I don't.
Well, and her siblings too. Like it in this thing, they interviewed her brother, or not this particular series interviewed her brother, but they showed an interview with her brother, and he briefly talks about it. But like she also has her sister, the one who was in the spotlight for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Jamie Lynn.
Cam just
Yeah.
found
Yeah.
something.
But you don't hear
guess they
about
don't-
anybody.
I guess they actually, my wife said this to me. She said that after Britney had her kids, her and Jamie Lynn had a falling out
Oh,
kind of thing. So they broke apart. Apparently, I found some information about her mom. Their parents are no longer married. They got a divorce in 2002 after 30
Oh.
years of marriage. And in an interview with Distractify, Britney said that the divorce was the best thing that's ever happened to the family.
wow.
So then who got, I mean, obviously the father got custody of Brittany.
Yeah. So, well, she said mom and dad, bottom line, don't get along. Lynn wrote about.
Wait, hold up. In 2002,
Yeah. So that was
she
a
would have
while
been
ago.
well over 18. She would have been
So I mean,
20s.
I
She
don't-
would have been mid-20s.
That's the weird thing is, yeah. Why is her dad even there?
So
Like, why was he chosen in any way, shape, or form?
just because she's the closest living relative.
I read here in Forbes last year in July, it said her mother, Lynn Spears, filed for a special notice of her daughter's financial activity in all matters pertaining to her daughter's trust. According to documents obtained, meaning she could act as a watchdog against alleged abuse by her father and conservator. So it sounds like the mom's trying to fight for her.
Get it, Lynn.
Get
You
it, Lynn.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wants to be part of the conservatorship, according to documents obtained in July of 2020.
Yeah, that's when this one was written with Forbes. This was back in July of 2020.
Dang, you go, Lynn. You save your daughter. You save that pop princess. Free Britney. Man, I'm in her corner now. This is nuts.
I feel dirty.
Yeah. No, for
Talking
real.
about this makes me feel like uneasy,
Yeah.
uncomfortable. It's
Well,
not a fun
I think I saw
subject.
something too. So Britney put something out recognizing the Free Britney thing, like rooting for it, saying thank you everybody, blah blah blah. And then just recently she put something else, or she was quoted saying something like, "Just drop it, leave it alone." But I don't know. There was like signs in it that it's like, was it really her that
Like
wrote
a
it?
coerced thing.
Yeah.
Well, and like
So-
her conservator just taking control.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's straight up a hostage situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you know, they're standing at the door like, "Hey, we're fine in here, cops. Don't worry about it." While the guy's behind you with his gun in your back. Like,
Right. You see it all the time. Sadly, you see it more with elderly. You know, you see a power of attorney come in, and it's like, "Oh, I'm power of attorney over all their assets. They're fine. They're fine. They, you know, tell them they're fine. Tell them you're fine. Tell them you're fine." And it's like, "Oh, I'm fine." And I hate these legal documents that make it so they can't get in trouble because it's legal in quotations,
Well-
and it's still criminal.
well,
I don't
just
know.
again, think of the insanity of this situation because we currently in the environment of our world right now are fighting against wearing masks. Like that's like we have our right to not wear masks, to do what we want, to go where we want, to do all this. She is literally all of her God and country given rights are gone.
Yeah.
Like, can she even vote?
No, I actually
no.
saw something on that. She can't vote.
No, she can't.
Yeah.
Like, what the freak? How is this even legal?
Yeah.
That needs to be amended ASAP. That's crazy.
Go get her, Lynn.
Well, if
Goodness.
you guys have made it this far, please make sure to give us a thumbs up and give us a full rating if you love us. If you don't love us, don't give us that rating.
If you're not giving 5 stars, maybe just don't.
Because every vote, everything helps us. Seriously, we're so small that every little bit helps. And that being said, every little bit also being if you're sharing us with your friends or your family. If any of these topics spike any interest, please share us. We'd really appreciate it.
Thanks for being part of this crowd, everybody. We will see you next time.
Thanks.
Adios.
Bye.
Thank you.